Good afternoon, Oak Grove. Happy Thursday. Welcome to this week's installment of the Midweek Update on the church's YouTube channel, where I just populate into your device in the middle of the week to smile and say hello and to try to keep the church on our mind for the remainder of the week that we're not in worship, because that is so important for us to do. So thanks for taking a few moments to join me here in this way. I received feedback last time that people really loved that I was coming to them from a different destination than normal when I filmed last week's video in front of the Christmas tree. Now, this week's locale is perhaps a little less scenic, but at least I'm mixing it up a little bit more. I'm coming to you from the driver's seat of my car. Why am I coming to you from the driver's seat of my car? Well, for one thing, I'm killing multiple birds with one stone and getting multiple things done at one time. But I'm not driving at the moment. I am parked. I want to emphasize that. I'm not filming videos while I'm driving. Although there are people that do that. There are content creators on YouTube and on all sorts of other platforms where they do that. But I am coming to you from the driver's seat of my car because I wasn't sure what I wanted to talk to you all about today. And then while I was driving a little while ago, I thought of a little life lesson that I kind of wanted to share based on my car's radio. So I am one of the antiquated dinosaurs that still listens to the old-fashioned AM/FM radio in my car while I'm driving. I am not even remotely up with the times, where everybody else who's even remotely current, I guess, is listening to satellite radio, or they're listening to their own custom playlists, which they generated on their devices. You know, they bought their music, they downloaded their music, they have it stored on their phone, and then they have it connected to their car and they're listening to that. Well, I am still one of the dinosaurs that listens to the old AM/FM radio while I'm driving. And I want to speak specifically to that point. We're going to have a reflection from the radio right now. I think that steering wheel radio controls are one of the worst things that ever happened for my patience in life. Because, as it happens when I'm driving, as soon as a song comes on that I don't like, or it might even be a song that I have liked in the past, it might be a song that I don't entirely hate, but if it doesn't fit the mood that I'm in right now, if it doesn't fit what I think I want to hear, then, you know, we have the steering wheel radio controls right here on my wheel that I can hit the button and surf the station, and I'm sure everybody has those. Every car has them these days. And I can immediately change the channel without taking my thumb off the wheel. Well, that means then that for years across multiple different cars that have had that same feature, every time a song comes on that is not my favorite or not what I think I'm in the mood for at the moment, I immediately change the station. And of course, it goes without saying that I have absolutely non-existent patience for it when a commercial comes on. Then I immediately change the station. And if the next station is in commercial, then I change it again till I hear music, you know. And so for years, I have been in the habit of just constantly station surfing on the radio while I'm driving, right? Well, for the last couple weeks, I don't know why. I don't know if it's a New Year's resolution, maybe one that I never verbalized out loud, to try to engage in a little more slow living, thoughtful living, intentional living. I've been trying to, as a disciplinary practice for myself, do what Julie does when she's driving. And that is to just set the radio to one station and just leave it there. So lately, my station of choice has been 99.7, but it doesn't matter which station it can be. It can be whatever station you want. I have been trying to follow her lead and do that, and just leave the station on the same the whole time I'm driving. Leave the radio on the same station. And, you know, I've really kind of liked it. I even don't change it when the commercials are on. And it is an example of slowing down life and not trying to dictate to the world what terms we're going to live on, because I think that may be becoming a lost art for some of us, okay? You know, when we can listen to satellite radio, or when we can listen from a playlist, or when we listen to the regular radio, but we're just incredibly impatient about changing the song as soon as we don't like it, we're trying to bend life to our terms instead of sometimes accepting that maybe there are moments when we need to accept life on its terms and accept that which we cannot change. Or maybe we can change it, but maybe we shouldn't change it. As I've been doing this for the last couple weeks, there have been moments where a song comes on that isn't even a song that I would say that I hate. It's one that I like, okay, but it's one that I might not say I'm in the mood for, and I might have otherwise changed it. But then after I sat and listened to it, I said, you know what? I needed to hear that today. Maybe it's something that's a little sad, but something that's meaningful, and I kind of needed to hear it, okay? And so, you know, I think that there's a little bit of a life lesson to be had in the way that instead of always going around in our modern culture where our devices and our technology make it easy to surround ourselves in a bubble of only the media that we want to hear, and trying to bend life to our terms by saying, I'm only going to hear the music that I want to hear and I'm not going to hear anything else that I don't want to hear. Maybe there is some thoughtfulness and some wisdom to be had in letting life come to us and rolling with the punches instead of trying to dictate the terms of every moment of every day. That's the way the overwhelming majority of human history lived throughout the overwhelming majority of human history before so many modern options came along that let us tailor our experience of life to our own whims all the time, right? It is a fairly modern invention to say, and we can extend this metaphor with other forms of entertainment too. It's the same thing with TV where, for 99% of human history, TV didn't exist at all. Then it's invented, but people only have a few channels and they have to sit down and watch the show that's on when it's on. Now we live in streaming world where we have the option of literally thousands of shows and we can start and stop them whenever we want. And we can skip the commercials and we can dictate the experience that we have on demand. But when we can dictate the experience, sometimes we find out that we're not as good of a custodian of our own experiences as we thought we might be. Because we get caught in unhealthy habits where we keep watching the same things over and over again. We get caught in unhealthy habits of doom scrolling and never being satisfied with the next show or the next song that's coming up in our queue. Maybe what we need to do is appreciate the things that life sends our way a little more often instead of trying to dictate, this is only what I'm going to accept in this moment. And so the radio is a silly example of that. Television is a silly example of that. But I think that philosophy extends to life in general. Now, don't misunderstand me to be saying that if we are extremely unhappy with our life circumstances, that we shouldn't seek to change them. And taking this to much more important things in life than the radio. If you're in a job that is extremely unhappy for you, or if you are in a relationship that is unhealthy, toxic, or worse, abusive, then absolutely change your life circumstances if you can. But I think that my car radio might be able to teach me that as long as my life circumstances aren't egregiously bad, then maybe more often, instead of dictating to life, this is exactly the song I want to hear in life right now, and I mean that literally and figuratively speaking, maybe we need to accept a little more the adventure of letting life dictate the terms to us sometimes and seeing where God takes us, seeing where that ride takes us. And saying, okay, radio, you tell me what I'm going to listen to next. And whether it's my favorite or not, whether it's what I might have chosen in this instance or not, I'm going to listen to it and try to enjoy and appreciate it for what it is. There might be some wisdom in that because that's how a lot of people lived for a long time before our modern options came along. So that's just the little reflection that I have to you today that occurred to me based on my car radio and my steering wheel radio controls and what they tell us about modern life and about our modern human impatience for anything that might not be our first choice in a given moment, but it might be what we needed. And it might have been even better than what we might have chosen for ourselves. So food for thought, Oak Grove. That's all I've got for you. I will see you in worship on Sunday. Take care. God bless and have a wonderful rest of your week.